you and your wife were separated and then y'all got back together. And
Yeah.
like, real quick, I just want to ask you, man, like, what was that like? Because you said when you got separated, your career started to take off.
2020, in 2020, my calendar for comedy was looking good in 2020. It was fantastic looking. I was already spending money I ain't got yet. Just looking at all the bookings I had in 2020.
So easy. I mean, so easy, to quit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the easiest things, to do. And so that, and then the second thing is, I always liked the girl. I mean, I liked it from first time I laid eyes on her. We just had to learn how to coexist. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
How many times you had me pull up beside you? Getting mine and we slide through. Every time it's a vibe with you. How many times did I come over? After you yelling and screaming at me, it's over. I look in your eyes to give you closure, but baby, I might just take it further. Take it up, got that body looking like a faucet. Know that attitude got you exhausted. You come to me just to get you up, yeah. Go crazy in it like I lost it. It's only me right now. It's all it's gonna be right now. We just living free right now. Where we supposed to be right now.
What's up, you guys, and welcome to another episode of Growing Pains. I'm your host, Alex Hampton, and today, this episode is going to be a little bit different. This is actually my first time interviewing someone on this particular podcast. You guys may have known him. This is a world-renowned comedian. You've seen him do shows with Ali Sadiq. You probably know him in the huge Houston area. He's also an author, a father, and a man of God. I am so glad to have Marcus D. Wiley here on the podcast. How are you doing today, Mr. Marcus?
what's happening? I'm good. How you?
I'm good. I'm so glad to have you on the show, man. I've been following you, man, for a while now. So I was just like, hopefully I could reach out and have you on the show. So, and what interests me a lot is that you are very comfortable and upfront with your faith and what you do. And I think that that is just amazing. It's one of the inspiring things to help me do podcasts like this. So I'm glad to have you on the show, man.
Appreciate it. Good to be here.
So I wanted to ask you, when you started comedy, when did you know that this was it? Like, when did you know that this was the path that God was taking you?
When I got paid, I got paid. Yeah. Yeah, the money focused me.
Mhm.
I've been quote unquote funny all my life,
Mhm.
but it never yielded any money. And
Mhm.
so the moment it yielded some resources, some money, then I kind of, got serious for real. And so from the first time I hit the stage and they brought me an envelope with what it was about $500 in it, I said, "Yep, this is it." Yeah,
Awesome. That's awesome. A lot of comedians would say that, like, when I first got my first check, and no matter how big it was,
yeah,
that's when I knew
yeah.
this was it. And I wanted to ask you, when you started walking with God, like, how did that affect how you did comedy, or did it basically influence you to do it in a particular way, or have you always been just naturally you?
So being a preacher's kid and grandkid and great
Mm,
grandkid,
mm,
I've always known that presentation is everything. And
mm,
so I never wanted to be on stage, cussing, using vulgarities, even though I have to be honest, I personally don't have a problem with it, but I didn't want to do that knowing that I belong to a family as well as a faith
right.
that suggests
Mm,
not doing it. You understand
mm,
what I'm saying? And so
mm,
so that did have a impact or an effect on how I do comedy. I
mm,
want to be clean. I want to be
Mm-hmm.
clean, but however, there are times where, I want to tell stories and I want to tell them authentically, like the way I heard them.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the way I heard them had some vulgarity, some cussing in it, but I
Mm-hmm.
have to find creative ways to still do it without saying what I heard. And so
Mm-hmm.
family and my faith definitely had a big impact on how I do my comedy.
At Momentum Media, we offer photography, videography, and DJ services. Book your appointment today at www.momentummediaent.com. Creating moments to capture your vision. That's awesome. I also wanted to ask, man, like, how did you get linked up with Ali Sadiq in your career? I put him on one of my Mount Rushmores of comedy because, and like you guys tell story. You tell jokes as well, but you tell stories in your comedy so much so that I could visualize literally what you're saying in the story. So, how did you guys cross paths and started doing comedy together?
So when I first started doing comedy in 2002,
Mm,
Ali, Sadiq, and some other guys in Houston, Dave
mm,
Lawson, Terry Gross, Keir Spates, these were the comedians in Houston who was working at the different clubs and the different nights across town.
mm,
And so I would go watch them first before
mm,
I actually hit the stage. I didn't start till September 20th, 2002, but maybe
mm,
from January of 2002 all the way up, I was watching them.
okay.
So when they realized I was a comedian, they brought me into their fold.
Mm,
And then Ali started taking me like, hey man, I got a show at this college. You want to come open up? You want to come do XYZ? And so, we did a lot of road tripping together, a lot of
mm.
talking while we driving, out of town to another city. And then, we just kind of developed a good friendship from there, and it's only escalated since.
Yeah, I recently saw that Ali Sadiq shot your special that should be
Yeah,
coming
mine.
out soon. I'm gonna ask you more questions about that, but I wanted to dive into real quick that you being a man of God, and I'm assuming you have a church home in Houston.
Yeah.
Was there ever a time where your church community felt like you were what's the term, lukewarm in what you were doing, or did you ever feel like there was a divide, like people were judging you based upon the profession you were doing and who you did shows with? Because I'm sure you've done shows with other comedians, right?
Yeah.
But your job is to be funny. So what was it like managing like that opposition in your church home and even family while doing your job?
Yeah. Well, you know, people gonna always judge. And
Yeah.
so like that's something, if you somebody who still tripping about people judging, then
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
Mm,
So people gonna always judge.
mm,
But that has really nothing to do with me. That has a
right.
lot to do with them.
Mm,
Um, I think in the Bible somewhere it say you could tell the tree by the fruit.
yes.
And so
Yes.
for me, it's really not about who I perform with, the way I
Mm,
perform,
mm,
but how do I act
mm,
when I'm there and when
mm,
I'm around these people. And
mm,
so I always, try to be Christ-like,
mm,
um, wherever I am. It's not a
yeah.
secret that I'm a Christian. I'm not a Christian comedian. I'm a
Right.
comedian who happens to
Right.
be a Christian.
Right.
And and that's not a secret. I talk about it on stage. It's
Mm,
it's it's news. Now, if I wasn't letting folk know, and act in a certain type of way, then
Mm-hmm.
you know they
Mm-hmm.
should have whatever they have. But
Right.
try to be consistent. And so because I think I do a decent job of it, I really don't hear the noise nor care about any
Mm-hmm.
other noise. Yeah.
What's up, you guys? Momentum Media is on Patreon. Joining our Patreon, you get access to ad-free content, ad-free celebrity interviews before they hit the YouTube channel. You get to ask the celebrities different questions of who I'm interviewing, town hall meetings, and exclusive content to all the members of the Patreon. This way you help support us in growing our content here at Momentum Media before it hits our YouTube channel and other various social medias. And also, if you join us today, it's only $5 a month. If you join us, you get access to many different perks and many different things exclusive to you. We want you to be a part of the family and the bridges that we're building here at Momentum Media. Join us today at patreon.com/Momentum Media. Go ahead and scan the QR code on this video, and you get to have access to everything that we're doing in the future of building this brand. Thank you guys so much for being a part of our family, and we would like to welcome you to Momentum Media. Yeah, that's good because I recently saw Lecrae, and he's from Houston as well,
Yeah.
and
H-Town.
he gave the same he gave the same sentiment, basically like this is where God has me, and I want to use the gift that He has for me to bring people to Him.
Yeah.
Even in the Bible, it says that God was with the sinners, talking
Yeah.
to them, breaking bread with them, and things of that nature. So, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, and I was just gonna say at the end of the day, I'm doing the best I can.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, people who are given
Mm.
grace and mercy
Mm-hmm.
should learn
Mm-hmm.
how to give grace
Mm-hmm.
and mercy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing the best I can, like anybody else trying to navigate,
Mm-hmm.
in the world, knowing that we are not of the world, but
Right.
still I live here. And
Right. Right.
and it's a lot going on. I mean, what I'm saying? So it's a lot happening. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm navigating, I'm doing the best I can. And so, respect it.
Yeah, most definitely. And what I love about you in general, you like the last time I saw you, you love telling stories about like you and your wife. And
Yeah.
the last interview I saw you on was with Hardly Initiated, about how,
Okay.
you
Yeah.
and your wife were separated and then y'all got back together. And
Yeah.
like real quick, I just want to ask you, man, when like what was that like? Because you said when you got separated, your career started to take off. And
Yeah.
what was that thing that said, you know what? I need my wife back. Like, because anybody would have been like, nah, I'm good. I'm just gonna keep doing this. So
Yeah.
what was
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. Go give
What
me
was
a
that
white woman
dynamic?
and chill out. Yeah. Uh, but yeah, no, man, what's crazy, I tell a story in my new special, in more detail, but at the end
Mm,
of the day, God just kind of pointed out some things to me, man. Basically,
mm,
like like I haven't divorced you, you do a lot of things I don't like, and
mm,
I ain't divorced you. So,
mm,
basically kind of just showing me, it's so easy. I mean, so easy, to quit.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the easiest things, to do. And so that, and then the second thing is, I always liked the girl. I mean, I liked it from first time I laid eyes on her. We just had to learn how to coexist. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
like,
Mm,
but I always liked her, and
mm,
I didn't want to be the guy who get on
mm,
and go get something that don't even know me, that really wasn't down with the struggle. I wanted to have somebody who, man, my fault. I wanted to have somebody
mm,
who know me, you
mm,
know, uh,
mm.
and been there from day one, and that's her.
Yeah. And that's so beautiful, man. That's so beautiful because you don't hear a lot of that, especially in comedy. You don't really hear a lot of that. And when I heard that, it was very humbling because the moment we get on, we think that the sky is the limit. I could do anything, and anybody wants to rock with me can rock with me. But to go back to something when I mean, go back to something because God was leading you that way. That takes a lot of vulnerability and being humble in that. And I
Oh
truly
yeah.
was blessed by that story. So, and I wanted to ask you, how has that now since then, since everything has strengthened your family? Like, has everything been, I mean, obviously in marriage, it's not always going to be easy,
Yeah.
but has everything been better since then?
Yeah, definitely things have been better. When
Mm.
we first got back together, though, it was worse. But but now, we still figuring it out. It's been 27 years now of marriage.
Hmm. Hmm.
We definitely don't have it. I don't think marriage is something that you ever plateau or that you ever be like, yeah, I'm there now.
Hmm.
I do a joke about black love. It's day to day. And
Yeah.
and today a good day. But
Hmm.
I don't know what tomorrow gonna look like.
Yeah,
But
that's
I
true.
think but I think through our experience and getting better with communication, getting better with perspective, getting better with understanding, getting better with patience,
Hmm.
exercising grace and mercy, here we stand.
Yeah. Yeah. And this leads me into my next question. I mentioned in the intro, you are an author and
Yeah,
you wrote a book called Hustle and Faith.
yeah,
God honors your faith and rewards your hustle. What
yeah.
I love about this, because I did read some of the book as I was preparing for this. When I
Okay.
bought it on Amazon, the
Uh-huh.
first thing it says that I am not a theologian. I
I'm
did
not.
not study hermeneutics or holistic matrix in seminary school. So you point out like immediately,
Yeah,
guys, I am not a pastor. You even said like,
yeah,
listen, I'm not. God did not call me to be a pastor.
at
And
all.
the book is it's very humbling and vulnerable, especially that first couple chapters. I don't want to
Yeah.
give anything away. I want people to get the book, but I wanted to ask you, what made you put this book together in the time that you put it together? Because by the way, when people go see the book, uh Marcus has a fresh fade. He doesn't have a fro, so you kind of almost look like a
Throwing
different
it out.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was it like putting that together and putting it out?
So the reason why I wrote the book,
Mm.
I would tell these stories on the radio. I used
Hmm.
to on Yolanda Adams' morning show.
Yeah.
And so Yolanda one day said, "You need to put all of that in a book." I
Hmm.
was like, she was like, "Yeah, you need to put it in a book." And so it was
Hmm.
actually Miss Adams who motivated me or inspired me to
Hmm.
write the book. And then
Hmm.
this other pastor, he told me, "Don't make it long because people really don't read books." This is what he told me. He said, "Don't make it long." He basically said, "Just get to the point on
Hmm.
every chapter. Just get to the point."
Hmm.
And I did it, and I'm glad he told me that because I get so many people who would say, "Man, I read your book, and I never read a book. Like I'm not a reader, but it was so easy. So I basically wrote it for public school graduates, and so yeah, hustle and faith. Yeah, it's been good. It's been good.
Man, yeah, and like I said, the book is really good. I haven't finished it, but I can't wait to continue through it because it was a pretty dope find. And I'll leave a link in the description below. It is on Amazon. You can download it as an ebook or you can get it on paperback as well. But like I said, it was a really vulnerable book. But also wanted to ask you, there was a time where I saw you say on Hardly Initiated when people ask you about your wife and they
Yeah,
say, "Does your wife feel the same way you do?" And your perfect response was, "Book her."
Booker, man, it killed me. It's like because people, I go places and I be on. I'm always on a panel or a podcast or just whatever.
Hmm.
People always say, "Well, I bet if we ask your wife, she might see it." And I would be like, well, you act like I got a hostage, like she in the basement or something tied up. You
Right.
can reach out and
Mm,
you can book her. But you asked me, so here I'm telling you my side. This is what I think. Now
right.
you don't know her side, book her. I mean, I don't know what you want me to say.
Right. That was just such the perfect response. Like I was just like, wow. Like, yeah, if you really want to know, book her for a show. She'd be more
Book
than
her.
happy to do
Yeah,
it.
come
But
on.
this leads me into your special and your comedy in Houston. Real quick, do you know Tim Ross?
I don't know him. I've seen him on Instagram, but I don't personally know him. No.
Oh, okay, because I know he's in the Texas area, so I just wondering if y'all ever cross paths.
Oh yeah,
But
no, not yet.
oh, okay. But so I saw somewhere that Ali Sadiq was being interviewed. I forget the please forgive me, but I forget the interviewer who was interviewing him. And he had said that he had just shot like 3 specials of his own, but also he shot your special as well. Um I'm not sure if you're in a position to tell us exactly the name or where it is, but can you give us some details of when we could see this special or and how it came about in you putting together this special?
Okay, yeah. So my good friend and
Mm-hmm.
brother Ali Sadiq,
Mm-hmm.
uh, he's been blessed. He's doing really, really well. And
Mm-hmm.
he asked me, he said, "Hey Mark, will you allow me to produce your next special?"
Mm-hmm.
And at first I was like, "Yeah, okay, yeah." And he was like, "No, I'm serious." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, okay, cool, yeah, yeah, yeah. Let me know."
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't think I thought, because even though he my boy, we in an industry where they just talk a lot. It's a lot. It's a man. If I tell you all the stuff I've heard since I've been what people gonna do and all that, man. So you just kind of be like, "Oh, okay, yeah."
Mm-hmm.
So next thing I know, a little later, he said, "Yeah, I'm shooting on this date.
Mm-hmm.
He said, what date will you be ready to shoot?"
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "I can shoot on October 13th." So October
Mm-hmm.
13th, in 2024.
Mm-hmm.
I shot my special "Marriage is Major Surgery" in Raleigh, North Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
produced by What's Funny, which is Ali Sadiq.
Mm-hmm.
And right now it's being shot.
Mm-hmm.
So to all of your Netflix, all the people, HBO show, all the people is being they
Mm-hmm.
looking at it, giving it a thumbs up, thumbs down. No, shoot it again. We
Mm-hmm.
want to shoot it ourselves. You're getting all these types of
Mm-hmm.
answers and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless, it will be coming out next month, February 2025. It will be coming out, and we just
Okay.
don't know if we're gonna do it ourselves or if we're gonna have it on a platform.
Now, I see that was going to be my next question because Ali has taken upon himself to put it on his own YouTube channels when he like I've seen all of Domino Effect. Like,
Oh yeah,
oh my God,
yeah,
masterpiece,
sure.
masterpiece. And I was going to ask, are you planning on doing the independent route as well, going on YouTube or even something like an Amazon? Because you
Yeah,
can you don't have to go through Amazon. You can actually put it on Amazon and sell it yourself. Yeah.
yeah. So basically, what it is, it's a need-based thing. So
Mm-hmm.
for me, somebody who's been in the game now since 2002,
Mm-hmm.
and really, even though I've done other specials, I haven't done them on this level.
Right.
And so it's all about what do we want. If somebody's gonna give you enough money for you to recoup your money,
Mm-hmm.
make some money,
Mm-hmm.
and then they put it out, and then people will be booking you from that.
Mm-hmm.
Or sometimes people give you a little money and you look at it like they offer you a little money rather. And you
Mm-hmm.
be like, I can kind of do it on my own and make
Mm-hmm.
that money
Mm-hmm.
without signing it over to you for X amount of years.
Right.
So
Right.
that's kind of where we're at. It's not that other people are not don't want it. It's just that
Right.
does it make monetary sense,
Right. Financial sense. Yeah.
financial sense, and all
Yeah.
that type of stuff right now. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's what we looking at, and that's what we dealing with. But definitely, because he did Domino Effect independently,
Mm.
he knows
Mm.
what it can do independently.
Right.
And sometimes independently is the best route. You know, we real big on owning. You know, nobody can tell me what to do as it relates to, you know, you gotta take this deal and you gotta do this. Nah, I ain't gotta do nothing, you know.
Right.
You know? So that's where we at. But February, regardless, it's coming out.
Okay. So what made you want to do it in North Carolina instead of Houston? Or is that where y'all were at? Or
No,
because I know Houston is home.
Yeah, Houston is home. But I picked North Carolina because I have a good fan base in North Carolina.
Okay.
Not that I don't have a good fan base in Houston, but a lot of times when you're home, you're familiar. You know,
Right.
they love you, but we've seen him. I went to school with him. He used to date my cousin. I mean, you know, all that. But when you're out of town somewhere, they really like, oh, you know, Marcus D. Wiley is coming to do his part here. And they showed up in big numbers in North Carolina. Yeah, big. They showed up big.
Oh man, I can't wait to see it. Yeah, I can't wait to see it because, like I said, I saw you at the Improv last year with Ali, and you opened for him, and I was just like, wow. Like, it's funny because I remember seeing you once on YouTube doing comedy at a church, and then I saw you again, like I said, last year with Ali. Or that may have been 2023. I forget the years, but one of those years.
2023.
Yeah, 2023. Yeah, because I remember you being at the Orlando Improv. Because it's now the Funny Bone now. But yeah, it's you. You just It's like you disarm the audience with your storytelling, and then you go with the punchline. And I just wanted to ask from an artist standpoint, how did you get so comfortable to that point? Because even though you and Ali are different, there's very similar ways of how y'all disarm the audience and grab their attention.
Yeah. So one, I'm gonna give credit to church. You know, church. How can I put it? So my next project I'm doing, if I don't do major surgery, part 2, rehab. That's what I leave you to do. But you know, him and these 2, 3, 4s. But it's called Hurt Church. The reverse of church hurt. And in this particular thing, I'm showing what church literally done for me, what it did for me. People always talk about what church done to them, but I want to share what it did for me. You know, it's time to put a new spin on this thing we call church, because everybody got something to say about church. And most times it's something bad, when church has actually been good. It's been good to me, and it's been good to a lot of other people. I'm because open their eyes. But getting to your question, by getting up in church, I had to get up in church. I had to do Easter speeches. I had to, when we had Sunday school, you know, they would make you, hey, we need 2 or 3 people from that class to get up and talk about what they learned in class and how that applied. And all that type of stuff helped me be able to organize jokes, because you don't go to comedian school.
That's right.
Right. Well, at least I didn't. It might be one out there, but I didn't go to comedian school. Right. So I had to learn how to, you know, be comfortable telling my story on stage and taking my time and, you know, letting the audience draw them in and then let them out, you know, all that. And I think church was good training for that, as well as I come from an era with very limited technology. So you had to learn how to tell a story, because everybody didn't see it. See, today everybody sees it. It's on their phone.
Right.
But back in the day, you had to be like, oh, bro, y'all missed it.
Yeah.
And tell the story.
Yeah.
You have to tell it to so where the people be like, what? And you know, and if you couldn't tell a story good, that's when you would say, man, you had to be there.
Yeah.
But the thing was, I don't have to be there. If you're a good storyteller, take me there.
Yeah.
And I think that's what
I was
happened.
gonna say I remember that era. I'm older. I mean, I'm not old, but
Yeah,
I'm 31, and I remember that
yeah,
era where you had to be there, like in the
yeah,
early 2000s, where you couldn't
yeah,
like send out those super text messages.
yeah.
You literally had to be
You had to
there.
be there. Yeah. So I think that's what that definitely helped. That definitely.
Awesome. Oh, now I wanted to ask because you were telling me about your son earlier. Has he thought about potentially doing comedy, following the footsteps of his father?
No, but he under the thing now, all these different streamers. So he see these streamers, and that's what he want to do, you know. And
Hmm.
who am I, man? They making a bunch of money. So
Hmm.
we just put something together yesterday. I mean, I'm not on it, but
Hmm.
about the money, I say you come up with half the money, save half the money, I'll match half to to buy the stuff that he needs.
Hmm.
So if you really want to do it, I'll help you, but
Hmm.
I'm not going to do it for you. And so
Hmm.
just had that conversation yesterday. So yeah, he into streaming.
Oh, okay. Now, does he? It's funny because his dad is a celebrity. Has he ever asked you, "Hey, Dad, could you meet me with like Kevin Hart or with anyone else?" Like, has he ever had
So
that conversation with you?
he always asks me, Dad, do you know such and such? Dad, do you know this? Have you fun with them?
Mm-hmm.
But man, he don't look at me as a comedian. He just look at me as his dad. So
Mm-hmm.
we rarely even talk about that type of stuff. And I'm glad. Just like he got a game tonight. I'm about to go watch my son play a game.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing about no comedy, man. I'm just here. We have a dad-son relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Not a dad-son who is trying to be famous or popular and all that. I mean, no shade to the people that do it.
Right.
But yeah, I kind of just try to keep that this is this
Mm-hmm.
and that is that,
Right.
Yeah.
Now, my last question I have for you is, what would you say to an up and coming comedian who's kind of in a similar position of you, who is very strong in his faith, but also works in an industry where my faith is not necessarily really accepted as well, like, and he or she doesn't want to like fall into the cracks of Hollywood or the cracks of comedy. What would you give that? What advice would you give that person? And what would you say to them if they were like standing in front of you or in that same community as you?
I mean, I probably would just tell them I sleep well at night. And what that mean is I don't owe nobody. Um, I haven't done anything to compromise my morals or beliefs. And and though I do have a good mattress, but the point is I'm not tripping. I think is to thine own self, be true. And I think that's what I would tell any up and coming artist, anybody doing their thing, because it's gonna be opportunities for you to probably make some money and have some opportunities, but it's gonna cost. And it might cost your ability to sleep good at night.
Yeah.
And so, and nobody wants that. When I go to sleep, that's the closest to death that I am, and I want to sleep however long the Lord allowed me to sleep. So when I hear people saying like, "Man, I have trouble sleeping at night," that's not my story, and I don't want that to be my story.
Right.
Based off of any decisions that I've made, that I did for my career.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah. So that's what I would tell them, man. I would tell them I sleep well at night. So, meaning
Mm-hmm.
I've been me from day one,
Mm-hmm.
doing what
Right.
I want to do. I
Mm-hmm.
take the nose. I take the nose. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
No. And I
Mm-hmm.
take the yeses, but I ain't do nothing special but my talent. Think the Bible say something about your gift make room. And
Right.
so that's all I did. I went on stage, I did my thing, and that was that. I
Mm-hmm.
ain't have to do nothing after got off stage.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I got on stage. I sleep.
Awesome. Oh yeah, awesome. And That is something, and that is something that I hope that anyone who's watching or listening onto the podcast would take with them, because I know going through life, especially a talented person, can be very challenging. Definitely a lot of growing pains will come with that. But I appreciate your honesty, your transparency, and your vulnerability in this interview. I wanted to ask you before we sign off, where can we find you on social media, and how can people link up with you? And do you have any up and coming shows where you are?
Yeah, so I on social media, of course, Marcus D. Wiley.
Mhm.
That's my Instagram. I think I am Marcus D. Wiley's Facebook.
Mhm.
Matter of fact, they're working on my new website, marcusdwiley.com. We got a new
Mhm.
thing coming out with that. Currently, I have shows. So I did all 100 shows with Ali in 2024.
Right.
I did his entire tour.
Mhm.
He has a new 100 shows. They picked him up for another 100 theater
Ooh.
shows in 2025.
Mhm.
I'm gonna do all the shows in January, but then I'm hit or miss. Some, I'm kind of, because he actually kicked me out. He told me, he said, "Hey, Mark, you can't be with me the whole time. This year." you know, he's like, "Yeah, I wanted you with me last year, but not this year. You
Mhm.
gone by the bit." So, and so yeah, but I'll be in this weekend. I think we're in Daytona and Gainesville.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Um, I'm currently in Orlando, so Daytona is like 45 minutes away from
45
me.
minutes, yeah. So it's right
Yeah.
up the road. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, bet. If definitely, if I have that day off, I'm definitely gonna come see you, man. But we appreciate you. We love you here at Growing Pains, here at Momentum Media. I would love to have you back on the show sometime.
Hit me up.
Um, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you are listening, you can follow us on social media. Follow us on Spotify. We are at Growing Pains. If you just type in Growing Pains, we are one of the people that pops up on Spotify. Thank you again, Mr. Marcus D. Wiley, for being on the show. And as always, you guys have a blessed day.
Yeah.